Is traditional African religion getting extinct? Hello, Explorers! Welcome to another informative video presented to you by The Explorer, and thanks for watching. In this video, we shall take you into the world of religion and shall be examining if the traditional African religion will still be in existence in the next decades. There are several religions in the world today, with Christianity and Islam being the two most popular religions. In Africa, several religions are being practiced, including the traditional African religion, which used to be the most popular religion in Africa. Traditional African religions, or traditional beliefs and practices of African people, are a set of highly diverse beliefs that include various ethnic religions. Generally, these traditions are oral rather than scriptural and passed down from one generation to another through folk tales, songs, and festivals, which include belief in an amount of higher and lower gods, sometimes including the supreme creator or force, belief in spirits, veneration of the dead, use of magic, and traditional African medicine. But the evolution of the centuries has seen the fall in African traditional religion, getting less and less popular and practiced to a point where many fear it might be going into extinction. To confirm or deny this will require us understanding the full entailment of African traditional religion, as well as what is causing a fall in its popularity and practice. But first, if you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and turn notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. What the African traditional religion entails. Animism builds the core concepts of traditional African religions, which includes the worship of tutelary deities, nature worship, ancestor worship, and the belief in an afterlife. While some religions adopted a pantheistic worldview, most follow a polytheistic system, with various gods, spirits, and other supernatural beings. Traditional African religions also have elements of fetishism, shamanism, and veneration of relics. Traditional African religions can be broken down into linguistic cultural groups with common themes. Among Niger-Congo speakers is a belief in a creator god, force, or higher deity, which is considered by some to be a widespread and ancient feature of Niger-Congo cultures, along with other specialized deities, ancestor spirits, territorial spirits, and beings, as well as evil caused by human ill will and neglecting ancestor spirits, and priests of territorial spirits. Among Nilo-Saharan speakers is the belief in divinity. Evil is caused by divine judgment and retribution. Prophets as middlemen between divinity and men. Among Afro-Asiatic speakers is henotheism, the belief in one's own gods, with accepting the existence of other gods. Evil here is caused by malevolent spirits. Sun religion is generally non-theistic, but the belief in the spirit or power of existence which can be tapped in a trance dance. Traditional African medicine is also directly linked to the traditional African religions. Gods were either self-created or evolved from spirits or ancestors, which God worshipped by the people. Also, most modern African folk religions were strongly influenced by non-African religions, mostly Christianity and Islam, and thus may differ from ancient forms. Ancestor veneration has always played a significant part in the traditional African cultures and may be considered as central to the African worldview. Ancestors and ancestral ghosts or spirits are an integral part of reality. The ancestors are generally believed to reside in an ancestral realm, while some believe that the ancestors became equal in power to deities. West and Central African religious practices generally manifest themselves in communal ceremonies or divinatory rites, in which members of the community, overcome by a force, are excited to the point of going into meditative trance in response to rhythmic or driving drumming or singing. In this state, depending upon the region, participants embody a deity or ancestor's energy or state of mind by performing distinct ritual movements or dances which further enhance their elevated consciousness. The deities and spirits are honored through libation or sacrifice of animals, vegetables, cooked food, flowers, semi-precious stones, and precious metals. The will of the gods or spirits is sought by the believer, also through consultation of divinities or divination. Since Africa is a large continent with many ethnic groups and cultures, There is not one single technique of casting divination. The practice of casting may be done with small objects such as bones, cowries, shells, stones, strips of leather, or flat pieces of wood. Most African societies believe in several high gods and a large number of lower gods and spirits. There are also religions with a single supreme being like Chukwu, Nyame, Olodumare, Ngai, Rogue, while some recognize a dual god and goddess such as Mwa Lisa. The African traditional religion has guided the continent towards attaining virtues, which are often connected with carrying out obligations of the communal aspect of life. Examples include social behaviors such as the respect for parents and elders, raising children appropriately, providing hospitality, and being honest, trustworthy, and courageous. In some traditional African religions, morality, conscience, and more are associated with obedience or disobedience to God, regarding the way a person or a community lives. With such a rich religious background, you may wonder why the fear of it going into extinct is creeping in. But then, the look of one thing and one thing only will explain it all: the coming of the colonizers to Africa. What is replacing African traditional religion? Nigerian-American professor of indigenous African religions at Harvard University says traditional African religions is a complex animistic religious traditions and beliefs of the African people before the Christian and Islamic colonization of Africa. This implies there might not even exist any African traditional religion after colonizers came in. Despite the richness and beauty of the African traditional religion, almost every ethnic group in Africa has developed a complex and distinctive set of religious beliefs and practices over the last decades. When the colonizers came to Africa, one thing they realized is the fact that Africans are deeply spiritual people. With this though in mind, they penetrated the very fiber and roots of the religion, which has left it hanging on a thread in recent times, causing the traditional religions to become the least understood facet of African life. The belief in numerous deities, spirits, and natural objects such as rivers, mountains, trees, and the sun, as well as forces such as the wind and rain, have gradually been integrated with Western religious ideologies such as Islam and Christianity, and some just outrightly replacing it altogether. With seeds of thought which have been sown from times of colonization up unto this century, the assassination of the African traditional religion has been gradual but rapid, with most generations not even recognizing their native turfs, talk less any traditional rites in their cultures. The proportion of Africans who have been converted to Islam and Christianity while the African religion is painted barbaric and bad is very much regrettable to bring to consciousness. The emergence of alien religions has made religion a gargantuan obstacle of oppression in Africa, as well as a fountainhead of negative perceptions and unhealthy stereotypes, mutual mistrust, distrust, suspicion, prejudiced attitude, and even overly hostile behavior among the adherents, and a decline in the high regard for African traditional religion. Traditional African religions have faced persecution from the proponents of different ideologies, forcefully converting many away from it by demonizing and marginalizing it. The atrocities include killings, waging war, destroying of sacred places, and other atrocious actions. This seed of religious and ethnic discord sown by colonial masters is almost leading to a religious-less continent, as most millennials are abandoning not only the African traditional religion, but also the foreign religions. Some believe this was very possible because traditional African religions are tolerant of other gods, which allows general coexistence for multiple religions. This has been regarded by some authors to be another reason behind the rise of other religions in Africa, as well as the fall of Africus. Most followers of traditional religions accommodated Islam during the start of its spread in Africa, but in West Africa, it was not until the coming of the colonialism that Islam gained mass appeal, transforming even groups with historical animosity towards Islamic domination into Muslim communities. After the establishment of Islam, its rapid expansion and conquest displaced traditional African religions, either by conversion or conquest. Also, the early Christians of Niger Delta, who were against the customs and traditions of the indigenous tribes, carried out atrocities, such as destroying the shrines and killing the sacred monitor lizards. The European colonization of Africa is noted to have paved the way of Christian missionaries into Africa. In some cases, the leaders of traditional African religions were persecuted by the missionaries and regarded as the devil's agents. An example of persecution by missionaries is how many of the earliest Christian missionaries persecuted the Shona people of modern-day Zimbabwe. Desecrated shrines located in Matingeni harassed Shona priests and decreed Mwari, the Shona god, as being a fake and inept god. This persecution continued until the Shona were completely prevented from worshipping their god Mwari at Matingeni. Despite attempts at tolerance and interreligious dialogue, in many Christian churches, there was a belief that everything African seems to be pagan, and some argue this view up until today in certain evangelical Pentecostal religious positions. The historical view that Africans had to become civilized by slavery, colonialism, and Christian missionary activity likely contributed to the intolerance of traditional religions during the colonial period. These views culminated in some colonials rejecting that traditional African faiths were proper religions. Practitioners of the Bwiti religion have faced persecution by Christian missionaries and French colonial authorities, as well as some members of the present-day Gabon government. The modern society has seen no shortage of these same behaviors towards African traditional religion, which is causing the fear of extinction if care is not taken. Some of the practices of the African traditional religion, such as sacrifices, have been used to push the demonized narrative of the religion. But truth is, no one can truly understand what they hate and see as less from the start, which is the attitudes of colonizers as well as their religious missionaries. With all this, one might feel like there is no hope in the horizon for the original identity of Africans. With traditional festivals losing their value and frequency, divinations almost becoming a black market practice, and recognition of ancestors regarded as a barbaric philosophy, one might be tempted to say it is definitely going extinct. But then, the merger of the two world religions to form an African view of it, plus the fact that most of the world's religions have similar bases of goodwill and morality as core values, shows a silver lining. Besides, traditional African cosmologies and beliefs continue to exert significant influence on Africans today, which show all hope is not lost. Many are rising to the occasion and realization that even the world religions introduced in Africa are also ethnic religions where they originated, hence giving rise to a new wave of people striving to return not only to their roots, but also uphold the African traditional religion to its formal glory. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.